Hello, KW Plano agents. This is Eddie Grass, your Director of Technology, and today I'm coming to you with a special Command 101 Step 2, and that's Opportunities. I'm going to show you through all the steps of creating an opportunity, also what the Opportunities tab is all about, and how you complete compliance through using the opportunities. So let's get started. I'm already showing you my screen here for Command, and I need you guys all to be logged in for Command. So the first thing we're going to do is go do the Opportunities tab. And if you ever lost in Command, you can always hit the red button up there on top, and you can come down to Opportunities right down here. Now, Opportunities is three things, and when you're using Opportunities, you're going to think of it as this. It's going to be your sales pipeline where you're tracking your sales. It's going to be where you complete your documents and also where you complete compliance. So all three of those in one. And when do you want to create an opportunity? And this is different from when we were in .loop, where we create a loop when we were ready to do some forms. But for opportunities, you want to create an opportunity as soon as you think that one of your clients is going to get hot and you want to start cultivating them. And that's when you see on my screen here, there is a phase for cultivate, for listings, for buyers, and for leases. Also, there is a phase for appointment, active, under contract, and close, and the same for your listings, your buyers, and your leases. Now, within each of these phases are what's called stages, and I'm going to go ahead and click into the stage right here of cultivate. Within these stages, there are going to be watch, nurture, and hot, and these can actually be different for each person. You can actually customize all these different stages in here. And the way you customize this, and this is for every phase inside of Command, that includes cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, and close, you can customize all those stages by hitting this edit stages. And this actually customizes it so that you can create a system for your own business. So I like watch, nurture, hot. I'm going to go back to this. Now, if I were an appointment, then I have scheduling, scheduled, kept. In active, I have staging, showing, negotiations. Some of you may have legacy. This is when we were transferring over our loops from .loop. So you don't have to worry about that. And if you want to delete that, it's very simple. Again, you're going to edit the stage. Here are the stages that you can edit. And if you ever wanted to edit a stage, you can actually change the name by clicking here, and you can change it. And you can also change the probability, but I would leave it as default for right now. But if I wanted to get rid of this legacy, I could easily hit this little button right here. Looks like a trash can. And I delete that one right there. Now, the reason that you do this is because as you're moving your opportunities that you create, they're like little cards that you're moving through these different stages. That way, that every day that you get into Command and you're checking your opportunities and you're following up with those opportunities. So for today, like example here, if I were to look at this example of Adriana Avenue, if it's showing and now it's going into negotiations, I just grab that card and move it into negotiations. And you can do that for any of your opportunities. Now, some of you are list people, and I know some of you out there that are. You want to keep checklists for each of those different stages, and you can actually create those too. And so, example for this one here, Adriana, I created a checklist for myself for when I am showing. So I'm showing added seller information here. I just listed postcards. Yes, I did those. I created a flyer, a command link KWLS. Yep, social media posts. So I'm going through and checking off all those things that are required in this stage right here. Now, you can create your own custom checklist, again, through that Edit Stages button. Instead of hitting the edit over here, Now you would hit this little button right here. And for you, it would probably say 0 to 0. Mine says 0 to 11. And I could go in and add items and delete items and then save right there. So why is this important? It's so that you can provide your clients a very much customized system where you're tracking their transaction the entire time. And this is the same system that's going to be for every transaction that you have, whether it be a listing, a buyer, a lease, you're going to keep it all streamlined that way. On the screen right here also, as you enter opportunities, you can see what your volume is estimated and what your average time is. So your system's keeping track of your transactions right here. And you also see your potential income and your probable income depending upon where it is in the transaction. So that I can see right here that I have a probable income of all my different opportunities of making 23,000, although the potential is 30,000, because there is the potential that one of them may fall out. Now, as you go down here, there are some information for you if you are like to do some reporting here. But let's go into creating an opportunity. Now, you can create an opportunity from two different steps. You can actually create an opportunity from right here, where it's the Create Opportunity button. But the one I like to do is actually from within the contact. The reason I like to do it from within the contact is because then the contact will be automatically linked in the opportunity. Here, you'd have to link it. So, for example, if I went to the contacts here, and I'm going to look for myself, pretending that I'm going to buy a home. Here I am right here. I click into my contact, and you see, if you were to look in here, there is an Opportunities tab right here on the top. If I click on there, it can show you all the different transactions that I have completed here. These are actually fake. I have not purchased a 1234 Main Street in Frisco, but this would be listing all your different transactions with that client. So here, you can actually create an opportunity. And when you create this opportunity right here, as it pulls up, it's going to ask you questions. And the point when you create an opportunity is, again, when you think that this actual contact is ready to transact. So you want to create it even when you're still cultivating them, and you can put them in that cultivate phase. Now, when you open it, create your opportunity here, it's already listed for Plano. But if you were in a different market center or multiple market centers, you could select. If you're on a team, you select your team here. You pick your opportunity type, whether it's a listing, a buyer, whether it would be a landlord or a tenant, who the owner is, that's going to be me. There's the client. Because I am buying, the client is already selected, and that's because I did it from within the contact. If I would have done it from the Opportunities tab, I would have had to pick that contact right here. If there was a co-seller, because this is a listing, and I told you I'm going to buy, make sure you select the right one. Now it says co-buyer right here. If there was a co-buyer, I would pick that. Now the opportunity name, this is very important. You can leave it as default for right now, but before you submit to compliance, you must select the correct address property name to put in there. So you could leave it as default for now, but you must eventually change it to the property. So let's say if I was buying that 123 Main Street, Frisco. There we go. And that's for compliance so that they can easily find this opportunity and match it with your check. Now, here we're going to do some other things that we're going to add in. Custom tags, if you want to be tagging this opportunity in a specific way. Now, you could always be tagging things like which ones are from a referral, or for that you were working with new builds. But it's up to you if you want to be using these custom tags. You also want to choose your estimated close date. Let's say I want to be closing by the end of June. Time frame, 1 month. Budget, let's say 500,000. I would love that. Commission rate, 3%. And you're only going to choose the commission that you are going to earn right there. Even if you were like listing and you're on your listing agreement, you say 6%, you would still only put 3% because that is the probable commission that you will earn. The only time that you put the full commission in there is if you are listing a lease. Yes, so if you are listing a lease, you need to put the full amount in there, even though you still have the potential of sharing that later on. If you are actually representing a tenant, you would still only put the amount that you are going to earn. And here are those phases and stages. Let's say right now it's cultivate and hot. Right there. Once I'm done with that, I hit create opportunity. And it has been created. And you can see it has dropped in right here. Here's the $500,000 I'm cultivating. And now there is a little hyperlink that I can click on. That's going to open up the opportunity. So now that I've opened up this opportunity, this is where I am following up every day for this opportunity right here. Now, here's the details tab, and we're going to go through these here. Details is everything that I inputted, but there's more information that I'm going to be inputting as I go along. Like for example, if I have changed now from cultivate and I am now in the appointment phase, great, I'm scheduling the appointment, scheduled, kept, or whether I'm active. And now I am searching, showing, or negotiation of a home. Let's say I'm searching for a home. Let's say you want to keep track of when you schedule the appointment. If I schedule an appointment with myself, maybe I schedule that on May 1st. Then I kept that appointment. It was on May 3rd. The agreement, when the buyer agreement was won, it was on the May 3rd. Then I have information for the future, contract date and close date. Let's say we're going to speed up in time, and let's say a contract was just completed today, it was the 6th, and it has a closing date of June 3rd. Put that in. Now, as you can see, this is not all information that you're putting in at one time. This is every time you open it up and you're adding more information in there. And also financing type, let's say it's conventional, and save. So I keep adding information on this details tab right here. Now, don't worry about the property. This will be filled in later on. And then buyer's profile, this has to do with the app. So right now, don't worry about this. This is just when you're managing the app. Let's talk about, the app will be taught in a later class right here. So let's talk about the documents tab right now. So when you see the documents tab right here, this is the final resting place for your documents. This is where you submit for compliance. And the first thing you want to see is that there are folders over here. There's a consultation folder. Great, there's nothing that is required for a consultation, but under contract, when I'm submitting for compliance, this is a list of all the documents that may or may not be required for compliance. You ultimately know which ones are required. For example, do all contracts require a lead addendum? No, only if it was the house was built before 1978. So you will know that certain documents in here are not required, and you make the best judgment call. Now, one document that's always required is going to be make sure you have your IABS and you have your executed contract in here. And if it's a listing, you're going to have to make sure that you have that listing agreement in there. So there are certain ones that are required right there. But as you fill out these documents, and documents are taught in another class, what you do is you upload them into these buckets right here. Now, there's different ways of uploading a document. You can either do them one by one by clicking this add a file and dragging or dropping in here, or if you have a DocuSign room open, you can actually put that document in through the room link. A feature that's really nice is that you can actually attach multiple files. And when you attach multiple files, which is right up there on top, you can actually click them all and then hit attach, and all of them add at one time. That's a great feature right there. Now, Let's say that there is a document that is part of the contract that's not listed on here. Let's say maybe an amendment. Then you can add an item right there, fill it out, add that document right there. And last, what if there are some documents that are not regularly part of the contract, but are still important for keeping all your documents together? Well, you can create a custom folder right here. And let's say we're going to call it supplemental. Create that folder. And now, if I click into that folder, I can add documents there too. These would be documents like maybe the inspection report, appraisal report, or anything like that. Now, you're probably saying, how do I even create a document? Well, again, that's going to be taught in another class, but I will tell you that it's this button right here, Start a Transaction. That is how you create a room in DocuSign or a loop in dotloop if you are still using dotloop. And when you click that button, it's going to ask you which one you want to create it in, and then it'll give you a link for you to go and create those documents. And then once you create the room or the loop, when you go to add a file, you get the option of DocuSign where you can actually add those documents directly from that room or the loop. So whenever you are completing compliance and you have finished filling in all of these as much as possible, that's when you can hit this button that says Submit to MC. Now, because this is a buyer, I only have it under contract folder. This closed one is for Max for the closing documents, and consultation, there's nothing. If this was a listing, you would have additional folders. So you'd have a listing folder and an under contract folder. And that's because you're going to have a folder for the listing agreement. And remember that you must submit those listing documents within 72 hours of the listing agreement there. And then for the under contract, you have that when you actually have brought a buyer to your listing and you submit again. So there's going to be 2 submittals for a listing as compared to a buyer when you're only going to submit one time. One last little feature on here is this add comment. If you ever want to send a message to Max, you can actually set add comment right here, and you can send a message to Max too about some of these documents. All clear? Good. So now we're going to move over to the Offers tab. Offers tab is required for compliance. There are going to be some future features in the Offers tab, but for right now, just think of it like this. You're going to document the executed offer. So we're going to hit Add Offer. Go ahead and just change that to Executed Offer or Contract, whichever you choose. Create Offer. Now, when was the offer date? Let's say it was on 5/6. Closing, I do have to change that to the 30th. Now, it's requiring me to select from KWLS the home that I am purchasing. This would be different if it was a listing. If it was a listing, this button right here would actually be right up here, and you could select it at any time. You didn't have to do it during the offer. So just remember that this button is up here. This one is right up here for a listing, and down here in the offer for a buyer. So now we need to select the home. And I'm just going to say that I'm buying one of my own homes. When you actually pull it up, it actually pulls up your own listings right here. And if you ever need to search for a listing, you can switch it to all listings. And you can change all statuses or just for sale or that are pending or whatever. But let's say all statuses right here. And you could search for a home right there, search. And let's say here's the home, and I hit select. Now the home is selected. I now have to go into the parties, and that was that button right there. I'm going to go back real quick because I kind of went a little quick. Here's the parties right here. Now I already have that I'm representing the buyer, and I'm the agent and myself, but the seller, I will put the seller here, their name. I'm just going to call them seller for now. And then who's representing. Since this is one of my own listings that I selected, it has my name already pre-populated in there. And go ahead and fill out all that information as you see fit. Next, we're going to hit terms right down here. Now, what we're going to do is put the terms of the contract in. Let's say that $50,000 was put down in cash and a total of $350 is being financed for a total sales price of $400,000. Here was 1% earnest, but you could also always put it in by the dollar amount. Let's say if it was $3,500, I could enter it that way here. Option fee, let's say it was just $100, and that's for a total of 7 days. Seller will contribute to a residential service contract, a home warranty, let's say $550, and seller will contribute to the settlement cost. So this would be a seller credit, and if there was any, you could leave this as 0, or if you put that amount in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and click agent analysis. This is if you were using this to submit these offers to your client, and this is for a future use. For right now, just go ahead and hit save. Now that I put that in, now the offer is listed right here. And if it's the executed, what I'm going to do is hit accept right here. If it was not accepted and you still wanted to edit the offer, you could hit those 3 dots and you could edit the offer right here. But I'm going to go ahead and hit accept. What this does is open up the commissions tab. Now in the commissions tab right up here, I can submit for commissions, or we would call it in the old days, the green sheet. Easy to submit a commission, and I would recommend that you take a commissions class to learn more about this tab here, but real simple, it's already listed, and if there's no breakdown of this with another agent or a co-broker or anything like that, really the only thing I have to do is, if I'm going to have any deductions right here, or any deductions right down here, you could add them, like if you have a transaction coordinator or anything like that. And then once that's done, I hit submit. But one last thing before you hit submit, you want to add a note. And this is one thing that you have to remember. You want to make sure to put the title company email address and the title company in that note before you hit submit. And that's so that the CDA can be sent over to the title company. And then once you are done with that, this is, you have completed your commissions here. Now, let's go back over to the sales pipeline. If you ever need to find an opportunity that you are working, there are 3 ways to find that opportunity. The first way would be actually go through that contact like we did when we created the contact, and you can find it there. The next would be to go into the sales pipeline, and for that one example, I was buyer and I was in active, so I could click this little home right here, and it would open up right down here, and here's that 1, 2, 3, 4 Frisco right here. And as I'm searching now, I can move it to showing negotiations. I found that opportunity, and then I can click the little hyperlink to open it up again. Another way to find that is to use the All Opportunities tab. When you click Opportunities, you can also click up here on top and click All Opportunities. When you do that, it lists all your opportunities and you can filter for them. And here on top is that one that I created, the 1, 2, 3, 4 Frisco, and I can open it up that way too. So as you can see, what I've completed today was showing you the sales pipeline, how you can customize your sales pipeline from your phases, your stages, and your checklist. I also showed you how you can create an opportunity. And last is, I showed you about how you complete compliance in that opportunity. Hope you enjoyed this class. If you have any questions, make sure to join our Command Genius Bar and make sure to keep taking those Command 101 classes. Coming up is our DocuSign class, so I hope you join. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.